As political alignments and realignments take center stage ahead of the 2027 general elections, there have been strategic discussions on the position of the Igbo in Nigeria's political arrangement. Precisely speaking, former civilian governor of Old Anambra State, Chief Jim Nwobodo, hosted a closed-door meeting of Southeast leaders over the weekend. The closed-door meeting, described as consultative, focused on the need for the Southeast to clearly define its interests and play a more central role in national politics. The need for a clearly defined Southeast political agenda is an age-long conversation, especially after the conclusion of the Nigerian Civil War. But what's different this time? Welcome to Political Paradigm. I am Bukola Koka, standing in for your regular anchor, Terry Kumi. Now let's unpack what the Southeast political agenda would look like, particularly ahead of the 2027 general elections. And joining me on the first segment of the program is the National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Chief Sly Ezeokenwa. He joins us virtually from Anambra State. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Oh, what a relief.
I don't know if you can hear me quite well. I've been having some challenges with my network here, but I think I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear, and indeed it's a relief to hear you.
Hello, good afternoon, Bukola.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ezeokenwa. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chief?
Thank you very much.
All right, indeed. I got that feedback.
Join you on this program.
Okay, I got that feedback.
Yes, I can hear you very well. I can hear you loud and clear.
Brilliant. Okay. So one of the reasons that meeting cannot be ignored is that it was called by the governor of Old Anambra State, politically non-aligned. The last time he held political office, I believe, was in 2011 when he served as a legislator. And he said some things at that meeting. Quote, that's Chief Jim Nwobodo. Now, we don't want anyone to deceive us. We don't want to pretend that everything is okay. We do not want photographic information. We want to know what the people have for the Igbos. And according to him, that meeting is to continue with an outcome that would be an articulation of the Southeast political agenda ahead of 2027. How long has this been coming, and what do you make of this new move to rally to articulate a Southeast political agenda?
Well, for me, and as a political leader, and of course the national chairman of All Progressive Grand Alliance, I would say that conversations like the one have been initiated by no less than Jim Nwobodo is for me a welcome development because in conversations that you will definitely have. One of the problems, there's this saying that if you don't know Southeast, if I may use that word, has been in political isolation in the affairs of Nigeria. And at times, some persons have argued that such isolation has over time been self-inflicted in the sense that the Southeast have, not played what some affairs of Nigeria, and then at the end of the day, they end up getting shortchanged. And so conversations like these are welcomed. Welcomed in the sense that it provides a
Oh dear, it appears as if we're having challenges with the network that certainly cannot be ignored. We'll take a moment now. We'll take a moment now and perhaps take a listen to the soundbite from that consultative and strategic discussions that took place at the residence of former governor of Old Anambra State, Chief Nwobodo. And while we do that, we'll try to fix the network so that we can have a seamless conversation, and then we'll be back.
Good position in the scheme of things in Nigeria. Want to be able to know where the Igbos stand. We don't want anybody to deceive us. We don't want to pretend that everything is okay. We don't want any photographic information. We want to know what the people have for Igbos, and we will get it this time. I work with him, I'm working with him, and I'm sure that with three of us, others will join us later on. Others will join us. But we definitely will have a position for the Igbos. But let the former governors and the present governors of the Igbos meet and take a decision for themselves. Let us take a decision so that people can meet, decide anything, but let the former governors and the present governors of the Igbo stock meet and take a decision. Peter Mba is a very strategic person. He doesn't talk much, but he acts. And I call him my son, and he is. So before he moves for anything, he discusses. And so, don't make a mistake. And I have worked closely with the Origins of Kalo. And I know what he is, what stock is made of. And once he stands for something, it must be truthful and very important for us.
Of course, it was a meeting held behind closed doors, but that was what was made public to pressmen who were present after the emergence of the governors, the legislator, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, the governor of Enugu State, and of course the elder statesman himself. And you saw there the former governor of Abia State, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, and Governor Mba getting an endorsement about their own political disposition from Chief Jim Nwobodo. Of course, there'll be more to come on this, what has been described as strategic discussions. So let's get an insight into what this may be and how it will take shape in the coming days. Chief Sly Eze Okenwa, APGA National Chairman, is back with us now. I'm very optimistic that the network will be more clement this time around. Chief, go ahead and wrap up your thoughts on what may be the background to this.
Yes. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Yes. So the point I was making is the fact that conversations like this are welcomed. And I think I'll actually summarize or try to highlight my opinion or my point with an Igbo adage that says that an elder, does not stay at home while a goat delivers in feathers. And so when you have an elder statesman like Chief Jim Nwobodo sounding the clarion call to other Igbo leaders to come together and articulate a possible or a probable Igbo position, I think it's a welcome development. And in highlighting this point, I think it would be quite good for us to go back a bit memory lane. Sometime in 2019, in fact, starting from 2015, or if you even take it further down to 2011, the Igbos came together and adopted President Jonathan. And some persons asked a very vital question. In adopting President Jonathan, what is in it for Igbos as a region? The same question recalled again in 2015, because it seemed as if it was a blanket endorsement without any strategic engagement on what the Igbos or the Southeasterners, if I may use that word, stands to gain from such strategic endorsement. And because that conversation was not held, it then looked as if it was some elite, if I may use that word, it was some elite that were trying to negotiate certain personal positions for themselves at the expense of the Southeast region. And so listening to Chief Jim Nwobodo, I think it is more or less trying as much as possible to avoid a repeat of history, in the sense that for us as a people, and I firmly believe that we must one day have that conversation. And that conversation will be centered around what holds economically or socio-economically for the entire Southeast region. Today, we have key positions in government. Of the 6 major positions that we have today, we're talking about the number 1 man, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, number 5, and number 6. The only person that is a Southeasterner is the Deputy Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. The Deputy Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. So the question is, if we are going to participate in the 2027 election as a region, then I think it is necessary that we come together, articulate our position, make our demands known. And one of those that is opposed to any blanket endorsement of any candidate. Blanket endorsement in the sense that it is better for us as a region to come out and invite who and whoever may emerge as a presidential candidate on any of the numerous platforms that we have in the country. And then we'll come together and ask such a candidate what is going to be possible or what will be allocated to the Southeast if peradventure such a person is elected in office. So the essence is you don't shut out any candidate like the Igbos have been doing in the past. So for me, it's a welcome development that this issue is coming up. Of course, today we have the Southeast Development Commission headed by our own brother, Mr. Mark Okoye. It's one of the avenues that the present dispensation of the present government or administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to address the issue of Southeast marginalization, which is a welcome. Like I said, the point I'm making is that conversations like this are welcome. But however, it will be with a caveat. The caveat is that for us to have such conversation, we must make sure that every strata of the society or the Southeast is actually engaged or covered. Talking about not just the stakeholders or the elites, we must have people from even the Manufacturers Association, the youth group or coalition, the women group or women coalition, and every strata of the society. We must come together and possibly articulate what will be the Southeast agenda ahead of 2027 elections.
Chief Eze-Okenwa, your arguments certainly cannot be ignored. But before we begin to look at the caveat and how that caveat can, form a consensus, let's look at the Igbo themselves, or if you like, the Igbo man. We've seen only in recent times what seems to be a seeming agreement in terms of political coloration in the Southeast. In the past, there were across the Southeast states different political parties, but we now have 2 APC states. We have Labour Party, we have APGA in the Southeast. So is this a reflection? In fact, in the past, we've had a political party, PPN, defeat a ruling party. That was in Imo State, Governor Ikedio Hakim defeat a ruling party. So the question is this a reflection of what is often described as the Republican nature of the Igbo man, such that there's that sense of rulership, to dominate their own space individually, and that's why it's difficult to arrive at a consensus, in this case, a uniform political coloration?
I think you're about actually far from the truth. First, it is a known, or what I might call an aphorism, that the Igbo man is by nature highly Republican, in the sense that an Igbo man has this sense of independent-mindedness when it comes to making certain choices. But then you must juxtapose the Republican or this, the independent-mindedness of the Igbo man together with the Igbo man's quest to one day probably govern, of course, Nigeria. Because you must juxtapose this. Why you say you are independent-minded, You must equally understand that Nigeria as a country is made up of diverse ethnic groups. And of course, it's impossible that an Igbo man or the Igbo people alone will actually elect a president. It's actually practically impossible looking at the way Nigeria is composed. And so you need some sort of handshake across the Niger. You need some sort of alliance. You need some sort of coalition. And so why we are highlighting the fact that the Igbo man is highly Republican in nature, independent-minded, self-assertive. Still, when it comes to playing the broader politics of Nigeria, you must somehow balance the Republican nature of the Igbo man with the Igbo man's quest of probably governing the affairs of this country one day. And so, at the for me, you know, it's more or less a hybrid of a situation that you don't assert at the presidency. Because the three states, that of all three states in the ruling party, all of them were not acquired by the ruling party through the ballot. Those governors were at some point in time elected on the platform of another political party.
So the question now is, how do we, or do you now, arrive at a consensus?
When Governor Rochas Okorocha was...
pardon me, if I may come in there. On the strength of your point, how do you then arrive, how do you surmount that undeniable nature, Republican nature, and arrive at the caveat or the consensus that is required to enable the negotiation that will get the Igbo the national visibility that they require in the politics of the center? When you have ABGA, a different political party, Abia, a different political party, and then you have 3 APC states.
Now, I'm going to draw an analogy. How do you arrive at this? It's very simple. While I am not actually denying the fact that this is very, very difficult, but it is very, very patient, such as the one that has just been initiated by Chief Jim Obodo. It requires such conversation. It requires some, because you must, for you to be able to have such conversation and have probably some sort of consensus or some sort of possible or probable agreement, you must be very frank. I've said this repeatedly. The Igbo man must ask himself question, what do you want? Do you want a shot at the presidency? Or do you just want Nigeria, of course, do your businesses, of course, the Igbo man, you know, survive in a country like Nigeria, of course, go about your normal businesses without actually deciding or pushing one day to get the shot at the presidency? It's a different thing. But the moment you say that, oh, we have 3 major ethnic groups, of feel that the northern, you must, as a matter of compulsion, come together at some point to answer some hardcore questions. And in answering those hardcore questions, these questions must be answered devoid of emotions. Because the moment playing politics with emotion way. So if conversations like today, by the grace of God, we have as a major block that articulates the aims or objectives or agenda of the Igbo man. So such platform can be a veritable platform for that conversation or that question or that question to be answered. Then another possibility
as we wind
about
down,
our parties.
As we wind down now, Chief, I hope the network will help us get this last bit which is just as important as where we started off from. You hinted at what would be a shot at the presidency, which is an age-long agitation for the Igbo. In 2023, perhaps the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, was as much a symbol and an opportunity for the Igbo to occupy the top seat in the country. While he nearly made a clean sweep of the Southeast states, but the same could not have been said about the measure of support that some thought he ought to have got from leaders of the Southeast themselves who played different politics in 2023. Do you see that repeating itself in 2027? If indeed the Igbo want to have a shot at the presidency, don't you consider him wanting to contest again as an opportunity for the Igbo to actualize that age-long dream? Chief?
Now, this is the problem. Of course, you have equally answered the question that you just asked. And what is the answer to the question? The answer is first, you just mentioned, or you just made allusion to the fact that part of the fact that there was no deep conversation around that presidency in 2023. Because if you had a deep conversation, then you could have been purposed if we had other people or other, of course, members of the other ethnic groups cashing on such quest that the Igbo man can elect an Igbo person.
A very big challenge with getting to hear your thoughts, and they're very
as the president
critical
of Nigeria. It requires some sort of alliance. It requires some sort of partnership. It requires some sort of I don't know if you can still hear me.
Perhaps you take 60 seconds to try again for you to land on your thought, and then we can close.
So now, I don't know if you can hear me loud and clear.
Go on.
My network is actually very bad. Now, like I said earlier on,
we've given it our best shot, and I believe we're able to make the best of the time that we had for this particular one. And of course, as much as possible, it's been an engaging one. We must thank you very much and anchor at this point. We've been talking with the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Chief Sly Eze-Okenwa, who has joined us virtually on this segment. We'll take a moment now. When we return, there's more on how best the Southeast should be articulating its political agenda ahead of 2027. My next guest will join me in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you've missed quite a lot, but we'll do a lot of catching up. Of course, we've been looking at the Southeast political agenda against a backdrop of the meeting held over the weekend called by elder statesman Chief Jim Nwobodo for strategic discussions on the need for more visibility for the Southeast at the center. What does this mean, especially ahead of the 2027 general election? And what's different about this age-long call for a share in the national cake for the Southeast region of Nigeria? And joining me this time around for this next round of discussion, I have Honorable Uzo Arukwe. He is the member representing Nnewi North Newi South, and Ekusigo in the House of Representatives. Honorable Uzokwe, thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Bukola, good afternoon.
Indeed. So let's start with this. Chief Mobodo says we don't want photographic information, we don't want deceit. But the question is, what does the Southeast want? What should the Southeast be asking of the center ahead of the the 2027 general elections?
Good afternoon. Happy New Year and Happy Christmas. I hope that this year will bring to us a very good tidings. Well, the Igbos, the Southeast of Nigerian extraction, we don't want much. We are not asking for much. All we have been asking is the reintegration of the Igbos. We want equity. We want justice. We want a Nigeria that an average Igbo man can proudly say, I'm a Nigerian. We have been tired of describing us as a dot in the circle. We want equity. We want a Nigeria that every Igbo man can aspire to any position that he or she wants. That is all we have been asking for.
And is that not the case at the moment? Doesn't the Nigerian structure and system provide the Igbo man an opportunity to actualize his dream on equitable grounds as others who claim citizenship of Nigeria? What makes the case of the Igbo man different?
Let us go back to the lopsidedness of the state creation. How many of the states do we have in Igbo land? We have 5. Others have 6, 7. And you know too well that the sharing formula in Nigeria, the federal character, put into consideration the reintegration, the equal distribution of wealth in a place whereby the sharing formula is lopsided. The lopsidedness of the sharing formula makes an average Igbo man disadvantaged at issue from the day we talk about. Okay, let me give you an example. For an Igbo man to aspire to any position, you always hear you must build bridges. I agree. His Excellency Bola Tinubu built bridges. But inside the same Nigeria, they will tell you that no matter how an Igbo man build that bridge, that he will never aspire to any position he or she wants. Let me give you an example. DIG Frank Mba is the most senior police officer. We are watching. Let me see if Frank Mba will be the next IG of police. Go and Google it. Go and check it. Go and do your investigation about DIG Frank Mba. He's the next most senior police officer in Nigeria. Will he be named as IG of police? During Obasanjo's regime, Dr. Bernard Shaw was the most senior customs officer. He was made the CG of customs. For 3 months, he retired. He has given us, Obasanjo gave the Igbo a sense of belonging. This present administration, His Excellency Bola Tinubu is trying. I'm not saying that he's not trying. He is trying in the sense that all the appointments, all the key positions, they have gone one side. The Yoruba-speaking section of the southern Nigeria. And we all south. In a place that will give an Igbo man, is either a junior minister, is either an assistant. Go and check all the permanent secretaries, the DGs, all the appointments. the ambassadorial positions, whereby an Igbo man will be an ambassador. An Igbo man will be an ambassador to Burundi. He will be an ambassador to Lome, Togo. He will be an ambassador to the Republic of Benin. Is that the Nigeria that we all want everybody to belong, have a say? In business world, they will be asking the leadership of the country to give everybody enabling environment for business to prosper, ease of doing business. Let us take this appointment as a yardstick of doing business. Can you say that Igbo extraction of Nigeria, Igbo as an Igbo man, that an Igbo man has an ease of doing business in Nigeria?
Well, some of your points are taking, and some could debate them. One of which I'd like to follow up with would be your argument about state creation, the Southeast having 5 states and all other regions rather, having more. But in those other regions where you have either 6 or 7 states, there are still agitations for more state creation in those regions. And the question would be, is it a matter of state creation that would bring about a resolution of all the concerns of regional integration, or assuaging the concerns of certain region, or the more important point about effective management of resources allocated to those states? For instance, under this current regime, it's been said time and again that the subnationals are receiving more allocation from the federal government. So how well are they managing it? So would it be state creation that would be enough compensation for the Southeast, or rather other more important issues? For instance, the 3 R's put forward by General Gowon after the Civil War, which would be the reconciliation part, which has a number of political implications.
You misunderstood me entirely.
Pardon
I have never said, and never a time will I say, never a time will I say that state creation is an end to itself. State creation is never an end to itself. It is means to an end. When you have somebody crying, agitating for inequality, what do? You first of all sit down. Let us argue it out. Is this man crying? Is the cry justifiable? I am not saying that the 5 states we have in southeastern states, part of the country, it is entirely left for the masses to ask for their leaders. The one you got, what are you using it for? Let me tell you one thing. We went all the National Assembly members, no matter the party you are. We met with our governor yesterday, His Excellency Governor Chukwuma Soludo. We went to Government House yesterday. All the party, he invited us. Let us lock ourselves in a room and chat a new course. Bookie, let me be fair. Everybody that set our feet into that edifice called Government House, there is nothing like it in the whole Nigeria. Soludo gave us something that our children's children will be proud of in the next 200 years. That is leadership. I am not in the same party with His Excellency Governor Chukwuma Soludo, just like all of us. But he has accounted for the little they gave him. Come to Anambra State. Anambra State is a construction zone. I supported Chukwuma Soludo. I came to
yet another network interruption, but we're very optimistic that it will improve, and Honorable Ifeanyi Uzokwe will be back with us to continue his thoughts on exemplary leadership, something he's talking about with reference to the template provided in Anambra State. I believe Honorable Uzokwe is back now. I can hear him. Honorable Uzokwe, are you with us now?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, go ahead.
I am. So
go ahead, please.
I was trying to expatiate on my points. Federal character. You asked me if state creation will ameliorate the sufferings of the Igbos. That was the question you asked me. And I told you that we, the Igbos, we are lucky to have our good governors now. From Anambra State, Ebonyi State, Imo State, Abia State. Go and check them out. They have been able to account for the little that they have got.
All right. Well, there could be questions, if you can hear me, of the degree of accountability that you talk about and how far-reaching that we can find this development that you talk about in all corners and states of the Southeast. If you look at other states of the Southeast where the commendations are not as resounding as in the others as far as infrastructure development is concerned, and more importantly, also beyond infrastructure, empowerment of the people. I'd like you to conclude your thoughts before I now follow up with what seems to be another matter where we also addressed in the first segment of the program. So conclude your thoughts, Honorable Uzokwe.
Because you came into empowerment of the people. We are in our constituencies because we are doing many more empowerments to our people. In Anambra State, for example, I will always talk authoritatively about Anambra State. Come to Anambra State, there's what the governor called one person, one youth, two skills. What does it entail? Come to Anambra State. Governor Soludo has trained more than 5,000 youths. Empower them. When you learn two skills, he will empower you.
Honorable Uzokwe, can we focus on, pardon me, can we focus on the Southeast political agenda and not on governance in Anambra State? Pardon me.
I wouldn't want to because I know that if I get to that point that you are pushing me, you want me to mention Peter Obi as the most.
We haven't even gotten there. I'd like you to. If you say state creation is not a means to an end, therefore, I'd like you to articulate what really then is the Southeast political agenda and the strategy to achieving this political agenda.
What I said, I never said that state creation is not a means to an end. I said that state creation is not an end itself. It is not an end itself. It is a means getting to your end, giving us equity. What we are talking now is, I always say it, an Igbo man is not asking for special place. An Igbo man is asking for, if he stands the election today, that you will give him fair, level playing ground. Give us an INEC that we announce the winner irrespective of the tribal extraction. An Igbo man is asking that whatever he merits, give it to him. And the man is asking for a structuring of the country. That is what is he asking for too much to ask for a structuring? Is he asking for too much to reintegrate us? I heard you saying about 3 hours of Gowon. What a deceit. What a deceit by Gowon. Koka, in all fairness between you and your God, Have we had that 3 hours worked in Nigeria in favor of the Igbo person? Have we been reintegrated into the society, into the entity called Nigeria? We have not.
Do you then disagree
after the Civil War?
Honorable Zokwe, in a quick answer to that, a counter question rather to that, do you then disagree that the creation of the Southeast Development Commission is one of the interventions that would address one key R of the 3 R's of General Gowon, which would be reconstruction? In fact, 2 of them, reconstruction and rehabilitation.
I will not agree to that in total. I'm a member of the House of Reps. The Southeast Development Commission was a cry that we shouted on rooftop. You can agree with me that Southeast Development Commission, which I am a member of, Southeast Development Commission was the last to be created. Let me come in here. Creation of all these commissions shouldn't be the solution we want, except if you are ready to fund them. We are investigating the bailout funds. All we see every day was we are supposed to get 100 billion naira, but 2 billion was only released. 140 billion naira for the Southeast Development Commission. Release it, let us see. When you release it fully, we will have reason to hold the commission accountable. Come, let us show us what you have done with the money they have given you. We only have these things. They are not on the ground. It's just paperwork. Southeast Development Commission. Have you released their budget? How much have you given to them? Investigate it.
All right.
You are mentioning all these commissions in order to assuage the anger of the people, but you are not funding them. You are not funding them. Southwest Development Commission, Northwest Development Commission, are you funding them? It is only NDDC that you have been funding, not even fully.
All right.
And you can see the interventions the NDDC have been doing all over the places. Can you give us Southeast Development Commission that will be fully in charge of whatever fund they have?
All right.
And finally,
from what you're
can
telling,
you guarantee us?
Honorable Uzokwe, from what you're telling us now, there are very many moving parts to what the Southeast needs in order to ensure this equity that you talk about. You've talked about appointments, you've talked about funding for the Southeast Development Commission, you've talked about many other things as well. But coming off of that meeting, we also hear Senator Orji Uzor saying that in order to remain relevant, we must align with the center. And we also heard Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, saying that we must be strategic, we must not be fragmented. The question then should be, in order to achieve the Southeast dream, must the Southeast necessarily align with the center, either through defection or declaration of support for Mr. President in 2027? We've seen your principle being on a categorical rather about supporting Mr. President in 2027. We're not quite sure the position of Governor Alex Otti would be for the 2027 presidential election, but we've seen that he's chosen to remain in the Labour Party in spite of the defection of Mr. Peter Obi to the ADC. So the question then is, must there be some form of alignment with the center in order to get your share of the national cake?
Can I tell you the bluntest truth here? What Senator Dr. Orji Uzor, my leader and my friend, said, I can only attribute them, both Peter Mba of Enugu State, I only attribute them to 3 words: Number one, cowardice. Number two, cowardice. Number three, cowardice. You see, Bukola, they are all saying they think that Nigerians are too stupid, too gullible, and too naive. That you are attributing what belongs to you, your cheer, as if Mr. President is doing you a favor. That means that the Mr. President must be investigated for corruption. If giving you what is your own cheer is doing you a favor, that you must align to the center to get it, then he must.
I'm very confident that he'll be back to conclude his thoughts. I would very much like to know why you have such strong views about the disposition of leaders of the Southeast on the matters of defection and alignment with the center. If that is the way you feel about their expression of support for Mr. President seen in their defection, how do you explain that of your principal, who has also chosen to endorse the president but to remain in his own political party? Don't you think that your own political party, that's his own political party rather, that's the All Progressives Grand Alliance, has the strength, the capacity and the wherewithal to present a presidential candidate in 2027?
Bukola, sorry, I am not in an All Progressive Grand Alliance. Previously, I am in Young Progressive YPP. And I came to your television. Yes, I came to your television during our election and said that YPP had no governorship candidate. The reason is that they brought our governorship candidate from Anambra North, cousin to Governor Obiano, that left after 8 years. And it is the turn of the South. And I said, having seen what Soludo is doing in Anambra State has turned into construction zone. We wouldn't want anybody to thwart what that person is doing, what our governor is doing. We want the governor to finish what he has started, like the construction of the road. We met with him yesterday, and he promised me that the roads he started in my zone.
Please return to the matter of the agenda. We're not talking about administration.
That is what I'm telling you.
In Anambra.
That is what I'm telling you. It is their prerogative right. It is their prerogative right to be in your party and you choose your candidate.
Then why is it not the prerogative? Then, Honorable Zokwe, why is it not the prerogative of the Southeast governors to also defect as well as much as support Mr. President for 2027?
You can't collectively put all the Southeast governors in one basket. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Why must they do that? You have to consult the people. You have to consult the people before you take that decision. You can't tell me because Peter Mbas said that he would defect to, or he defected to APC to help the president. Governor Wike was in his party and supported this government. In Anambra State, we have Anambra State as APGA and YPP. Lastly, we have Labour Party that is now ADC. Why must you turn Nigeria into? But let me tell you. Buki, let me mark this today that I'm telling you. After the primaries, you will see APC crashing. Mark it. All those people entering into APC now, you met people there. They have ambitions. Becoming governors, becoming House of Reps, becoming senators, and you come and displace them.
Honorable Zokwe, you make a fair point, but I'm only hoping that your point would have been consistent, because you're asking why would you put all Southeast governors in one basket? Why would your governor also choose to be in two baskets? APGA as governorship and APC in support of the president. But let's land on this one. What are your thoughts on the chance of the Southeast actualizing its age-long dream of getting a shot at the presidency through Peter Obi in 2027? You have 60 seconds.
You want me to give you the chances in percentage?
Anyhow you choose to answer it. But how does it move the Southeast forward in actualizing its dream?
The Southeast as a bloc, has 67% of becoming president of Nigeria. Through P2B, through Peter Uzokwe, I must decide to run for the presidency, but we have 67% chances.
All right. Thank you for keeping it brief. We must totally anchor at this point, and thank you very much for coming on the program. I've been talking with Honorable Ifeanyi Uzokwe. Of course, he's the member representing Nnewi North. I hope I get it correctly. I will. Yes, Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Ekusigo in the House of Representatives in Anambra State.
Nnewi North, the Japanese capital of Nigeria, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. You can see I'm in my village.
Indeed. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And here's where we drop the anchor on today's edition of Political Paradigm. Thank you so much for being there. I'll be back again same time next week. Of course, standing in for your regular anchor, Terry Kumi. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.